This is Angie Zuge. And today, Jeff Friedland and I are delighted to welcome Ric Schumacher, the CEO and founder of Pressure BioSciences from Boston today, and Jim Morrison from New York. Welcome, Ric and Jim.
Thank you.
Thanks, Angie.
Absolutely. So Pressure BioSciences is a publicly traded company with the ticker PBIO, and they describe themselves as a leader in the development and sale of innovative, broadly enabling pressure-based solutions for a variety of different industries, including the global life sciences industry. We'll ask Ric to explain what that means in a minute, but first I have a question for Jim. So Jim, you are the former president of L'Oreal, Sexy Hair, StarShop, and Graham Webb, and you're acknowledged as one of the top brand strategists in the personal care space globally. Jim, why did you decide to become part of the Pressure BioSciences family?
That's a good question, Angie. Some of it's timing, maybe most of it. I've had a very fortunate career that has spanned 5 decades. The majority of it's been in personal care. Probably the highlight of that time was L'Oreal, and I was there for almost a decade during a time of unprecedented growth. We averaged 20% revenue increases every single year that I was there. We made some dynamic acquisitions, and it was just a great period all in all. But for the last 4 years, I've actually been in New York as the president and CEO of a tech startup called StarShop, which was a joint venture that we did with Sprint, the telecommunications company. And so I kind of pivot a little bit in my career. And fortunately for us, StarShop was acquired in the first quarter of this year, which enabled me through a series of events to get connected to Ric and to this newly formed concept called Availa Bio. And here we are, just at the forefront of this merger, and hopefully being able to give you a little bit more color around what the future looks like.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jim. Just such an interesting background. We're so happy to have you today. But we'll come back to you in a few minutes. First, it's important that our viewers have a basic understanding of what Pressure BioSciences is. And Ric, like Jim, has an incredibly impressive background. 13 years as a scientist at Harvard Medical School. And then he founded or co-founded 4 publicly traded companies with a combined market cap of over $1 billion. Ric, as a CEO of Pressure BioSciences, could you provide us with an introduction to your company and its current business?
Love to, Angie. Pressure BioSciences is an instrument company. We make and sell instruments and consumables, mostly to the life sciences area. A lot of biotech and biopharma companies are using our products. We also provide services. The common denominator here is that everything we do relates to pressure. Pressure is an amazing force of nature. Pressure moves at the speed of sound. Pressure is instantaneous. We can turn it on and off like a light switch. The kinds of pressures we work with, though, are pressures that have really never been seen in the laboratory up to this time. We work with pressures that go between 1,000 and 100,000 pounds per square inch. To give you an idea, if we were out in the Marianas Trench and having this discussion at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, 6 miles of ocean on us, we'd have 17,000 PSI. We go to 17,000 in a New York second, in a millisecond, actually. So the amazing thing about pressure is that all biologicals in the world will react some way to pressure. But it's never really been utilized well because up till now, no one's really understood how to harness pressure in a very safe manner, which we have. So we sell instruments that are using 3 different technologies that we have, 3 incredible patented technologies. One is called pressure cycling technology, or PCT. We turn pressure on and off in an instrument, and that on and off pressure is able to do a number of things to the biological samples that are being researched. There are 500,000 researchers around the world that study biologicals, viruses, bacteria, cells. And by turning pressure on and off inside the pressure chamber, we're able to do, for instance, break open cells, break open viruses and bacteria to get to all that good stuff in a very, very finite and reproducible manner, the DNA, the RNA, the proteins. The second technology platform we have is called BaroFold, We use pressure in our instruments to what we call fold and unfold proteins. Proteins have a very specific structure, and that structure determines what it does. And if that structure is slightly off, it will not do. In fact, it can hurt the individual if it's taken as a vaccine or as a therapeutic. So using our BaroFold technology, we're able to fix that problem on some of these proteins. And the third technology that we have is called ultra-shear technology. It's brand new. We're working on our first instrument. And this technology is one that takes things that are normally not soluble in water. For instance, oil. Oil doesn't mix with water, right? We can make oil go into water. This is a combination of ultra high pressure and ultra shearing or cutting. And by using this technology, and we have 2 patents that have been filed on this technology, we're able to make things that don't go into water. So imagine the possibilities in cosmetics, in nutraceuticals, in CBD, in in pharmaceuticals. So many things need what you call nanoemulsions, where you mix things that don't go into water with water, and you try to keep them in there. Ultra shear technology can do that.
Okay, thanks, Rick. It's clear you have 3 very exciting technology pressure platforms, all with, I guess, numerous tremendous commercial potential. But your story, Pressure BioSciences, doesn't end there. You recently announced a pending merger, not with one, but 2 other companies, Cannaworx and SkinScience Labs. Jim, we understand that this new merged company will consist of Pressure BioSciences, Cannaworx, and SkinScience Labs. It'll be called Availa Bio, be publicly traded, and you, Jim Morrison, will be the CEO. Jim, can you help us better understand this very exciting transition? Rick has already told us about Pressure Bio. Perhaps you can start with Cannaworx.
Sure, I'd love to. So as Rick said, he's got some very precious technologies that he's developed at Pressure BioScience. And when we combine that with the 2 other component pieces of the merger, there is one common thread that kind of weaves all the way through this, and it's the bioavailability that's created by Rick's technology. In terms of Cannaworx, Cannaworx is actually a company that's been 5 years in the founding and formation. It's the brainchild of a New York-based doctor named Dr. Bobby Galili, who over the last 4 or 5 years has been very focused and has a fascination with the CBD hemp phenomenon that's taken place in North America. We've actually created, and he's created, 12 unique products using hemp as a driver that he's gone way out of his way to really patent, get FDA approvals on, and to really establish solid basis for. One of the things that we're looking forward to with the combination of the 3 companies is the utilization of Rick's technologies on the products that Cannaworx will create to make them more bioavailable, more efficacious, and just make them stand out as unique products in the market.
Okay, Jeff, that's great. Can you now tell us about SkinScience Labs?
Yes, I would love to, Jeff. SkinScience is a company that's been around for 19 years. It's the brainchild of a Harvard and Cornell trained doctor named Dr. Adrienne Denese, who in the late 90s was actually featured by the New York Times in the Sunday Style section for the breakthrough work that she had been doing in age reduction. And she was one of the pioneers in human growth hormones, and QVC approached her and asked her if she had considered doing any type of a product line. And she quickly put together the beginnings of a product offering that started to become featured on QVC. 19 years later, she has shipped over $500 million of products to QVC. She has been one of the top performing skincare brands on there. Her products have a wide range of benefits to them, and several of her products are in the top 5 in terms of sellers on QVC, and she's got an amazing following. So I feel very confident about the ability to take the company to new levels It's already a company with very significant revenue and very profitable. And I think it can only get better by utilizing the technology that Ric has developed in our formulas as we go forward.
Well, that sounds absolutely great, Jim. Thank you for telling us all that. And now, Ric, so Pressure BioScience is a publicly traded company. Can you give us your vision for the combined company, Availa Bio, as a public company?
Sure, I'd love to do that. And then afterwards, maybe I'll pass the baton over to Jim, who'll be the CEO of the publicly traded company. So I have founded or co-founded 4 publicly traded companies in my career. I took one public on NASDAQ. We merged into a NASDAQ company on another one. A third one, I was in the founding group, and then there's Pressure BioSciences, and we're on the OTC, but we're on the QB. So as a CEO of a publicly traded company for the last 20 some years, I understand pretty well what investors are looking for. I think we have all of the ingredients. When I look at this, I think of 1 + 1 + 1 equaling probably 10 in this case. Jim's touched on some of it already. I'm sure he's going to touch on some when I pass the baton. Knowing what the investor wants, many investors, they want to have a company that can show sales, show profits, but also has some sizzle in the background to know that new things are coming out. And so I'm very excited about the combination of these 3 companies because I think we fit the bill for what most investors are looking for. Jim?
Yeah, Ric, I'd love to pick it up from there because as you've described, when you do this combination of 1 + 1 + 1, you really do get 10. I know what we've got on the drawing board as far as new products that we're planning on launching under the SkinSciences brand. Cannaworx also has some incredibly timely products that Cannaworx is about to launch the second half of 2020 and on into 2021. And then I got a chance to spend several days with you at Pressure BioSciences a week ago, and I know what you've got on the drawing board as far as what's going to be rolled out in the spring of 2021. And I can tell you that the market is going to be hearing from us on a weekly basis in terms of new innovations and successes. And I really think the newfound company is going to be a machine in terms of new product, new ideas, and obviously new revenue and growth.
Hey, Jim, that's really exciting. It's great to see this combination going forward. What kind of insight can you give us regarding your outlook for Availa Bio's revenues for later this year and next year, 2021, and the financial future of Availa Bio? I know that there's no guarantee these will happen, but if your insight would be great on this.
For sure. I mean, immediately following the merger, you're going to have a combined entity that's going to have revenue in the lower 8 digits. But once the company really does come together and we really get to create the synergy that we're looking at, the revenue number will grow. I believe the revenue number will grow month upon month upon month. And in early 2021, this entity will cross over into profitability.
Okay. Ric, any final thoughts you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, I know some of your viewers have been shareholders in Pressure BioSciences, perhaps even for many years. And as always, I want to thank them. I want to thank everybody for sticking with us. This has been a long road. When you developed a product line that's never been seen before, then it takes time. But I'm very happy where we are now. I'm very pleased. We're ready to roll out, as Jim said, in early 2021, our first dozen instruments that we already have purchase orders for. And that combined is more revenue than we do normally in a year, just from the first 2 quarters of next year from our ultra shear technology. And that doesn't even talk about what we might do in the second half. So we have we have 17 or 1,800 shareholders. They've been very patient with us. We very much appreciate it. We're all in this together. And quite frankly, we can't wait for this merger to happen and to start with the new Pressure Bio, which is basically Availa with 3 different companies merged together that are going to work extremely well together.
That's great. Jim, final thoughts from your side, from New York.
Yeah, Jeff, this is a very exciting time for us. We've got two entities on this side, Cannaworx and SkinScience Labs, that we're going to obviously merge with Pressure Bio. The new entity is going to have an amazing blend of product, marketing, innovation, and science. And I think when you take a look at the story in totality, you're going to see a very, very intriguing, appealing public company that in a lot of cases is going to be vertically integrated. We've got a chance really with the technology of Pressure Bio and with the discovery and the innovation of SkinScience and Cannaworx to create our products from the bottom up and to have a competitive point of difference that the people that we compete with in the marketplace just don't have.
Well, Rick and Jim, thank you so much for your conversation today. We'll be providing a link to an online form where the viewers can contact you. We're also going to be providing the viewers with the web address to Pressure BioSciences. And gentlemen, thank you again for your time. I'm sure we will be talking to you again soon. And I also want to thank our viewers for joining us today on this episode with Pressure BioSciences. Until next time, this is Angie Zuge. Have a fantastic day. Goodbye.